I was watching some old episodes of Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was like Yankee Candle Company or something. But of course, the boss was undercover, and one of the employees said, "I hate people and I hate kids." And it was like, why are you here?
Right.
You know, when you applied for the position, your job is to interact with customers on the floor. So do yourself a favor and don't even apply for that job if it's something that you know in your heart you don't enjoy doing.
Yeah, we won't go there because we don't have time probably, but another one of the questions specifically asks you to focus on what for you are deal breakers.
Yeah.
And I explain, a deal breaker means there are these things that I will live with in an organization as an employee. There are things I won't live with. And I make a comment in the book. Frankly, I've seen employees put up with stuff that I step back and go, I can't believe you're putting up with that.
Yeah.
And then conversely, I've seen people who leave because you didn't smile at me this morning, when I walked in. But deal breakers are critically important because if I learn those and if I know those ahead of time, and by the way, if as a candidate, I don't mean the word force, but I force you to enunciate those, we may both realize, wow, if it's really important to you that this or this happens, that's not who we are.
Yeah.
Or by the way, it is who we are. But deal breakers, I hate train wrecks. Train wrecks hurt the organization.
Yep.
They hurt the candidate because now you've come to work, you just left your job search, there's a train wreck, it's not going to work out, and we both lose. I have to go back into the talent pool. You have to go back out into a job search. So one of the other three, without much detail, talks about deal breakers. The more I understand those, again, this isn't about you're a good person or a bad person.
Right.
It's about your behaviors and your interests fit the profile that we've designed in an organization, or they don't. It's okay if they don't.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the small thing, because sometimes it's the big thing. But people, I understand that we all need to make money, right? We have bills coming in, but the thing that you accept the job for today could very well be the reason why someone leaves tomorrow. I mean, if you're accepting it because of a paycheck, but by the way, you're going to be dealing with kids every day. And it's like the house you buy that you love, but it's an hour away. And you're like, but we love the house, an hour will be fine. Well, after you drive that hour back and forth to work for 5 or 10 years, you can't stand it, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's really interesting of just, recognizing that now and saving both parties some work in the long run.
And it's important, and it's a cliche, and it sounds too simple, but I want people that are hired to be happy. Mm-hmm. And unhappiness drives all sorts of things, and it changes the chemistry in my little work group. It may change the chemistry in the organization, depending what the role is. It changes, we know this, we know scientifically, it changes my productivity, it changes my output, it changes my creativity, all of those things. So the more that we can say, look, tell me about them. And again, I've heard the full spectrum of deal breakers, but the key is, did you leave the time with the candidate and say, I now understand those deal breakers. I understand for them what's things they'll live with and things that they won't live with.
Yeah. Wow. All right. One more question. So we have the 4 questions that leaders would ask. What's a really good question that the potential candidate could ask?
It's a great point that you raised, and I think that at the right time, meaning timing is everything, and it wouldn't be the very first thing that I say as a candidate because the hiring manager think that's a little presumptuous. But the point is, I think at some point you want to specifically ask the hiring manager, how could I best contribute to your team?
That's good.
Or what is it that I can bring to your team that would be the most helpful to you? Again, that's not a game. If you're sincere as a candidate, then when you're asking that, what you're asking is, here we go again. Look, I've got a resume with all this stuff on it. You've got an organization, you've got a culture that you've already built and are running. How can I best contribute to that? How can I best add to that? How can I best be an asset to that? Here we go again with the human capital part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Assets and liabilities. But yeah, that's one that as an interviewer, I always value, because again, presuming it's not just, a check the box thing, but I value because it tells me that the person is already thinking about how would I fit in.
Yep.
Not, let me tell you 10 more reasons why you should hire me.
Right.
But how can I be a contributor? How can I be an asset?